Hello and welcome to this week's NFL Pick Show. Nathaniel Arfin's here. Your Eagles are in the NFC Championship game. Go Birds.
Is Saquon Barkley the greatest running back of all time, or is he the greatest running back of all time?
I mean, the funny thing is, okay, can I actually get off my hottest take?
Yes.
Ever? O.J. Simpson is probably actually the best running back of all time. It's
really
him and Barry Sanders. It's not Dickinson can fuck off out of this conversation because OJ's 14 game season is significantly better than Dickinson's 16.
It really sucks that he killed those people.
It really, really fucking sucks because OJ was really fucking good.
He was really good at football. He was a funny actor. Him killing those people really just it really just sucks.
Do you remember what I tweeted when we got the Amber Heard Johnny Depp verdict?
No.
White people given this verdict, white people are never allowed to complain about the OJ verdict again. Whenever I record the F1 pod again, I need to break out like a 20-minute segment with my F1 correspondent on this Justin Baldoni Blake Lively shit, because this is, I think, becoming my favorite story of 2025, and it's just like it's so interesting to me in the context of Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, because it's like I feel like a lot of people looked at what I believe to be a pretty strong miscarriage of justice against Amber Heard, and I feel like a lot of people are mapping that onto this Lively Baldoni shit, and it's just like it is fucking fantastic. I love a good public cat fight. I mean, obviously, if she was sexually harassed, it's more than a cat fight. But
I don't know the beginning of this story, but I've gotten the clips on my feed lately, so I'm seeing it play out. But I don't have the opening act.
So, do you know who Colleen Hoover is?
No.
Okay, Colleen Hoover writes basically those terrible hockey smut books with cartoon characters on the cover, and then it's the filthiest shit ever.
Yes.
She writes those, except it's not hockey, it's domestic violence.
Ah.
So she read a book titled It Ends With Us, and the whole premise of the book is that Justin Baldoni's character, they made it a movie this year, and it was an extremely successful movie, and Blake Lively is the female lead of the movie. And the whole premise is that she basically gets abused for 2 hours, and then she gets to say that the cycle of domestic violence and domestic abuse, it ends with us.
I see.
And that's her big girl power moment.
Sure.
She is now suing the director / co-star for sexual harassment. He is countersuing for basically her and Ryan Reynolds taking over the entire movie. And it is not going very well for Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, because they are now asking for a gag order to be placed on Baldoni and his people because, well, let's just say it's not going well.
Because they're playing it out through the public instead of the way it should be done.
Well, in fairness, when you give your complaint to the New York Times,
oh yeah,
to start this whole thing off, you don't really get to bitch about this being done in public anymore.
Yeah, that's fair.
But also it's very funny because Blake Lively is trying to pitch herself as some plucky underdog in this, who's just being attacked by this horrible Hollywood man, right? And again, she absolutely still could have been sexually harassed by Justin Baldoni. I'm not saying that. You are Blake Lively. You are married to Ryan Reynolds, and your bestie, your BFF is Taylor Swift. you were allowed to take over this movie from the guy who literally bought the rights to the movie and directed it. Like basically midway through the edit. Respectfully, this notion that you are in any way equivalent to the women taken advantage of by Harvey Weinstein or any of these horrible Hollywood men, like you might have been sexually harassed. I'm not saying you weren't. Spare me the indignation. It's just plainly not true. Also, some blind item claims that Taylor Swift didn't let Blake Lively into her box at Arrowhead this past weekend.
Uh-oh.
And it's which again, who the fuck knows if it's true? It's a gossip rag blind item, right? But that would be something.
Yeah.
Speaking of, do we think so? Taylor will obviously be at Arrowhead again this weekend. I guess we'll start there. Do the Chiefs make their third straight Super Bowl?
I have been saying that the Bills are the best team in football basically all year, and I still think that that's likely the case. They're getting a point here from Kansas City.
It's a point and a half spread, I should say, which suggests that the Bills are, a very slightly better team on neutral field.
And really what it's going to come down to, I think, is coaching here. The Bills, I got to take them here. They've just looked like one of the better football teams we've seen in a very long time. Josh Allen is playing pretty well, and they looked great last week.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't love that the Bills went into a fairly sort of conservative offensive mode pretty early in that game against Baltimore. But the Bills defense was better than I was expecting. And frankly, respectfully, I mean, I know Lamar made a couple of big mistakes that you probably can't expect from Mahomes, but I thought the Bills did a lot of good work shutting down the read option stuff, shutting down the threat of Lamar's legs. And I think that if you force Mahomes into a pocket position, I don't trust, because you obviously think about the two matchups, right? Bills defense, Chiefs offense, Bills offense, Chiefs defense. I don't trust the Chiefs receivers to do what they're going to need to do. Obviously, it would be better if Matt Milano was playing, but I just don't trust a receiving core of what Hollywood Brown, old D-Hop, old Juju, and rookie Xavier Worthy. I just don't trust that receiving core. To do enough. I don't think old man Trav has 200+ yard games in him.
Well, if you were watching that game, Travis Kelce was wide open the whole game. It made no sense. His two big receptions came on these wide open plays.
Yeah, and I don't think the Bills are going to let him be wide open again. And then it's and even then the Chiefs scored, 20
23.
Yeah, 23. With not very good defense. It's just one of these things where I don't really know how Kansas City can score with the Bills. We've seen this game once before this season. And frankly, full respect, Josh Allen's a better quarterback right now. And that's where it comes down for me. It's just Allen's a better quarterback. I like the Bills' running game a bit more than I like Kansas City's. I think Allen is more likely to theoretically make mistakes, but he hasn't made them. He's been smart. He's more likely to take the sack or to just chuck it away. He's refining some of the mistakes out of his game. And at the end of the day, what have I been saying this entire season? The Bills are a really good team. The Chiefs are overrated as shit. I gotta take the Bills.
And this is one where I could absolutely make the case that the Bills are going to make a lot of mistakes. They're going to play sloppy football. They'll take more penalties than the Chiefs, and Mahomes will do just enough to get them the win. That is a scenario that I can absolutely see playing out. I just don't think it's the most probable one here. I think the Bills are going to come in. They're going to drop a bunch of points. Josh Allen's gonna run a couple, and we're going to see a lopsided number.
I think the Bills can score 35. I don't think Kansas City can score 35.
I absolutely agree. The Chiefs are winning this if it's 21-17. That's the only.
How are the Bills not scoring 30?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is it would have to be a lot of turnovers, a lot of sloppy football, and I haven't seen that from them that many times this year. So
the fact that they can run James Cook as many times as they can really does, like, because the terrible Josh decision making tends to come when you put him in 3rd and 13 or whatever.
Yes,
and they're just not in a lot of 3rd and 13s anymore.
Yeah. That's exactly it.
I mean, I guess the other way that this would happen would be like an all-time like ref job. But one, I think it's far more likely they just swallow the whistle on both sides and no, like we're just back to COVID rules of no offensive holding whatsoever.
Yeah.
Right? Then we get a true ref job. And two, the NFL like doesn't really have an incentive to care. Like, and three, I think the NFL this isn't, the Bills are not a bad Super Bowl, winner, right? Like, there's no reason to hate the Bills. The NFL is frankly would probably like to get the Bills championship if you were just asking, what would be good for the league. Yeah, getting Buffalo a championship would probably be actually in the interest of the league because it would enable, because it would just make it a little bit easier for them to, get a new stadium built and get all this stuff. Like, I just genuinely, I don't believe the refs are going to come in and bail out Kansas City, and I think the Bills are going back to the Super Bowl, baby. Then again, I did think that last year, and I lost, so who knows?
Now, an interesting thing about the Buffalo Bills and the Super Bowl. They have lost in the Super Bowl to 3 out of 4 NFC East teams. And this is another year where we can look to make records because the Philadelphia Eagles have never played against the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, okay. Commanders are 6-point dogs to your Eagles. I'm gonna make this very quick, very simple. I am betting the Commanders, and I am even gonna bet the Commanders money line. Who's got the better quarterback?
I think it's clear that Jaden Daniels is the better quarterback.
Who has the better coach?
I don't know that I'd say Dan Quinn is necessarily better than Sirianni, but
I would.
He's definitely better defensive head coach. But man,
who's a better play caller? Who the fuck is your play caller?
It's Kellen Moore.
Yeah, who's better, Eric Bieniemy or Kellen Moore?
Ooh, Bieniemy. Yeah.
Better coach, better coordinator, better quarterback.
Well, Fangio's a better.
And I'm getting 6 points.
Look, I can absolutely see taking the Commanders against the spread. 6 points is a lot, especially for defensive rivals. Vic Fangio is one of the best defensive coordinators in football, and I don't think there's much argument there. And him going up against a rookie quarterback for the third time, this is an exceptionally good defense. The concern here on offense is, and always has been this year, whether or not Jalen Hurts can protect the ball and avoid taking bad sacks. And you know what? I don't think that's going to be the case because he hasn't been able to do it all year. Especially last week, he's taken these absolutely terrible sacks throughout the game that kept the Rams in the game in the fourth quarter. That game should have been over, but Jalen Hurts kept taking bad hits. But Saquon Barkley is just so good.
How are we feeling about Jake Elliott just being unable to kick at various times?
Well, it's amazing that Jake Elliott can't hit a point after to save his life, but then he goes from 45 yards in the driving snow with the wind in his face, and it's not a problem. He is one of these kickers where I have basically no faith in the point after, but if you line him up from far away, I feel like he's going to make it every single time. It's a strange feeling with him.
I agree. I mean, hey, remember the first game against the Commanders when you ended up blowing them out because Saquon just ended up scampering for like 2 long touchdowns.
Yeah.
But remember, that game was unnecessarily close because Jake Elliott decided to do some Jake Elliott shit.
And I'm sure Jalen Hurts did some Jalen Hurts shit. It's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be smooth. But the Eagles are going back to the Super Bowl this year. They're gonna hand the Bills their 5th Super Bowl loss.
Oh no, they're the fuck not. If that's the matchup, it's Bills all day.
But this
you're seriously betting on Small Dick Sirianni, and you're seriously betting on Small Dick Sirianni over Big Dick Josh?
I will take this defense and Saquon Barkley to the house. You watch this offensive line and they're blocking downfield, talking Jordan Mailata running at guys. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing to watch this line play. And I love how the Eagles run the football. But we'll talk that matchup when it comes to it. But this week, I'm taking
in fairness, the Bills will almost assuredly have Matt Milano for the Super Bowl if they make it.
That is fair. It's not going to be an easy game. But
I mean,
neither is this one. We have to.
I mean, that one's going to feel very. That was. I think both the NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl, if it's the matchup, look. If I'm picking no odds, I'm obviously picking Philadelphia to win the game. I just think 2-1 probably on the money line is not a bad value. 225. I feel like if you think Philadelphia wins, you're betting the under in this game and in the Super Bowl. And I feel like if you think Washington or Buffalo are winning, you should probably take the over because if Philadelphia wins, it's going to be because they can do the 14-minute. The classic Philadelphia shit, right? The 14-minute, 19-play drive to just like milk the clock and end in a touchdown, right? That's going to be how they do this. And if they do, then yeah, you can win this game. But you're going to, weirdly, for the quote-unquote favorite, you're the one who needs to reduce the number of possessions in this game. Because if you just give Jaden Daniels too many chances, man, he's going to put up a 40-burger on you. And I don't know if you guys, genuinely, I don't know if you guys can match that.
I haven't seen anything from Jalen Hurts that indicates he's going to be able to put up those kinds of offensive numbers. He's not that quarterback. He's not that guy. And I think that the Eagles have won largely because of the offensive line, Saquon Barkley, and the defense.
It's look. The funny thing is that like if I just listen to the case that you're making, it's like coherent, it makes sense, and I agree with it. And then I listen to the case that I am making, it's better coach, better quarterback.
They can make it, yeah. This is one where I legitimately could see it going either way.
I don't. This line should not be 6.
Yeah, it's 6.
It should be 4.
Range. 2.5 maybe.
No. Because you're the better team. Plus, it's at home, so it should be 4.
Okay.
Right? Two-ish for being better. 2-ish for home field. Should be 4.5 at most. Because the thing is, the link is going to be insane, right?
It's going to be a hard place for Daniels to play.
Now, here's the one thing that makes me a little jittery. Okay, I did think Minnesota was going to beat you in 2017.
The big thing with that game, and I remember watching that game, it was going into it is Nick Foles making the throws, and as soon as he got the ball, he made a solid 4 passes in a row, and then the offense stalled out and we got stopped. But I was still confident knowing that we were going to win that game because of how Nick Foles came out and looked in that first drive. I don't have that same indicator with this team. This Eagles team is a much more long game, grueling, grinded out, physical team. And there's not as much of that shot play downfield offense. It's hard.
And respectfully, you shouldn't be in this game because it was very obviously DPI on the 4th down against the Rams.
That's an argument that one could make.
Yeah, that's an argument that I can make because I had money on I decided to live bet the Rams on that drive, and they absolutely should have scored a touchdown. Yeah, am I still bitter about it? Yes, I am. That was DPI.
I think this is going to be another. It's going to be an interesting game. Also, Zach Ertz versus Dallas Goedert. That'll be a fun matchup.
Revenge season.
Yeah. There's the injury report is garbage right now because everyone's questionable.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Is like it's just all these teams are playing mind games, and it's like, well, just a lot of limiteds and a lot of questionables and a lot of nobody actually fucking does anything.
So here's the Eagles injury report. AJ Brown questionable, Dallas Goedert questionable, Jalen Hurts questionable, Quinion Mitchell questionable, Josh Sweat questionable, Cam Jurgens questionable, Lane Johnson questionable, Britton Covey injured reserve.
Yeah, fun. If you had to make a two team or two proposition 6-point teaser, because everybody loves a terrible 6-point tease. By the way, we were correct. Chiefs Lions did not cover as a teaser. We're right about this. What would be your 6-point teaser this week if you had to make one? For me, it's extremely obvious.
Bills Chiefs over Eagles.
Ooh, no, I was gonna go. I'm going Commanders. I'm teasing the total down in the Commanders game to 41.5, and I'm taking the Bills up to 7.5.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
Because like getting the Bills through the Bills at 1.5 is a very teasable number, because the only way teasers make any like actual mathematical sense is if you're getting them through two key numbers, and you'd be getting the Bills through 3 and 7. And I just don't think, I think your defense is good, but I think Jay Daniels is scoring 20.
That's fair.
And like the other thing is that I do think, or at least I would suspect, that if Sirianni has a brain, and that is genuinely up for debate sometimes, but if Sirianni has a brain, he's going to know that he can't win this one 20-16. And they're going to push the ball more. They are going to put it on Hurts at first they're going to give Hurts some opportunities to score. And hell, if you're down 10-0 early in the game, like you're just not going to be able to, even if you run the ball a lot still, you're just not going to be able to drain 38 seconds off every play clock, starting in the first quarter, right? Danielle is really fucking good.
The slow start is and has been a problem all year, and it can get ugly if we aren't able to get points on the board and we can't get some stops. So we'll see. Last time we played him, he scored 5 touchdowns. So yeah.
That was not the Elon tweet I thought you were going to send me. Have you seen the one where he's just making puns off of famous Nazis' names?
Yes, it's like a child just discovered 4chan for the first time.
What is this man doing? The really funny thing about my favorite part of the Elon discourse from this week, we're just doing this at this point. Whatever. I'd want to get this take off, and I don't want to write about it because he's not worth my time. My favorite thing from all the people is it's not a Nazi salute. Okay, then do it. Film yourself. Do it right now. Do it at the office tomorrow. Do it. If it's not a Nazi salute, then fucking do it. It's not a Nazi salute. Fucking do it.
It doesn't matter what scenario you've cooked up to make it okay to do it. It's not okay to do.
Right. And this is my whole thing is it's very obvious that people do not that people don't actually believe that it's not a Nazi salute, because if they did, they wouldn't be continuously telling us that it's not a Nazi salute, right? It's just absurd. It's nonsense. And fuck Elon forever and always.
It's just the worst discourse.
Yeah, but you know what isn't the worst discourse?
Talking football.
When I have you on the podcast. Thanks for doing this, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
At Arfin Nathaniel, I'm at East Grimshaw. I don't know, man. I had the perfect outro, and then the fucking lines fired me, and now it's I don't fucking know what to do. It's no, let me go, whatever. They substantially downsized the company into a 2-man operation. But it's just one of these things where it's I had the perfect outro, and now I just don't want to do the time to build a new good one. Thanks for doing this, buddy. You did double do this week. Thanks.
Thank you. It was fun. Talk soon.